Now at 8 o'clock, the first measles case this year in the state of Oregon. Health officials say the infected person spent time in 2 busy public places. We'll let you know where coming up.
When it lands in a group of relatively unvaccinated people, it'll spread like wildfire.
Plus, the latest on the ceasefire between Israel and Iran as President Trump touts his involvement putting the deal together.
They agreed to the ceasefire, and it was a very equal agreement. They both said that's enough. They both said it.
But first this hour, police searching for 2 suspects accused of a armed carjacking in Northeast Portland. We'll have a live report from the scene here in just a moment as the 8 o'clock hour of sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. We will get to that breaking news story here in just a moment. But Rod, we're going to start with you and your Wednesday forecast.
Hi. Well, our Wednesday forecast and our Thursday forecast, for that matter, based on low cloudiness off of the Pacific, staying pretty solid and keeping temperatures down. And we have the ongoing threat, touch of some light moisture at times. This is actually a lifted cloud deck. Earlier this morning, you couldn't really see the beach. The clouds it was fog, but now we got some people out jogging and walking, and the clouds have at least lifted. But it will be a gray day, no wind to speak of, 55 degrees. From our Snook Winds Casino Resort camera. And here's a similar scene inland from the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. You can see the solid cloud deck, 56 degrees, and there are at least patches of light moisture around. This is one of the more socked-in views from our Rose City camera looking across the Willamette this morning. And raindrops being reported out at PDX along the Columbia, 56 degrees. We'll be 61 at noon. There could be a touch of some light moisture at any point today, 67 the high temperature at 5 o'clock, and that is your cool Wednesday forecast.
We also have a traffic alert here, Rod. Real quick mention, starting tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, Southwest Durham Road in Tigard will be closed on the west side of Upper Boones Ferry Road. This closure is happening 1 day earlier than originally planned, so if you live in that part of town, keep this in mind. Also, that stretch of Durham Road is expected to stay closed until 9 o'clock next Monday night while crews work to replace a railroad crossing.
Now at 8, there is still a shelter in place for people in the Hazelwood neighborhood of Northeast Portland.
That's because police are searching for 2 armed carjacking suspects. Thomas Schultz joins us live now near that scene. Thomas, what can we say?
Well, Drew and China, CERT officers have been out here all morning, and they're now starting to march down the street. We've seen them step off to the side while police seem to be going house by house looking for these suspects in this armed carjacking. Let's show you a little bit of footage that is of what this looked like a little bit earlier this morning. We've had crews on scene since about 5 o'clock this morning. Now this all started when police say there was a carjacking around 4 o'clock this morning near Northeast 108th and Haslow. Officers then located that vehicle along Northeast 114th. We're right here on Halsey in Northeast 114th. Those suspects, police say, were then seen fleeing the area. Special operations officers and the crisis negotiation team are also here on scene. And again, residents have been asked to shelter in place. We've spoken to a neighbor here who lives on 113th. He says, unfortunately, he's seen stuff like this happen more and more frequently in his 30 years here in the Hazelwood neighborhood. It's gotten so bad that he says now he's looking to move. Now, as for this scene here, police once again still searching for those 2 armed suspects. They are asking anybody with information about this alleged crime or where these suspects may be to contact Portland police. Drew, China.
Thomas Schultz live for us this morning covering that breaking news in Northeast Portland. Next up here is a health alert. Doctors have confirmed Oregon's first case of measles this year. Officials say it involves an unvaccinated patient, and they also say this person spent time in 2 very busy public places, a Safeway store in Lake Oswego and the airport.
Health officials also told us the patient had just returned from an international trip. Here's KGW's Catherine Cook with more.
We now have our first case of measles in Oregon in 2025.
State health officials warn the adult with Oregon's first confirmed measles case of the year spent time at this Safeway store on A Avenue in Lake Oswego. They say they were here on Sunday, June 22nd, between 11:30 a.m. and 3 p.m.
I go here every day. It's my local grocery store, Safeway, so that's a little frightening.
Pedro Fernandez says he and his kids are vaccinated against the measles. a disease health officials declared eliminated in the U.S. 25 years ago.
The problem is there's so many people that, as a matter of choice, choose not to be vaccinated, but we're a public grouping of human beings. We're not just individuals, and this is where that intersects.
I think my biggest thing is if you're sick, stay home. Don't spread it around.
A few days before the Safeway visit, health officials say the adult was hospitalized with measles symptoms, including a rash and pink eye. A lab confirmed the disease on Monday. The patient had recently traveled internationally, pointing to another public exposure risk. On June 17th, they took a United Airlines flight from Chicago to Portland, landing around 6:30 p.m. Health officials say they spent 2 hours at PDX, including time in baggage claim. Doctors' biggest concern is over people who aren't vaccinated.
When it lands in a group of relatively unvaccinated people, it'll spread like wildfire. And so, what our summer looks like is going to be dependent on what that happens, whether that happens.
Health officials say measles symptoms can show up 1 to 3 weeks after exposure. They usually start with a fever, cough, runny nose, and red eyes, followed by a rash. To limit exposure to others, doctors say call your provider ahead of time if you think you're infected. Don't just show up. And they note the recommended 2 doses of MMR vaccine offer 97% protection against the measles.
And if the medical advice is to be vaccinated, then we're vaccinated. I don't see where there's a debate, and as a consequence, people are going to die unnecessarily with an eradicated disease. It's unbelievable.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And with more than 1,200 reported cases, 2025 is already the second most active year for measles since 2000, the year the United States officially eliminated it. The map shows the latest number of cases reported to the CDC this year. And with summer travel upon us, officials are reminding people to be extra cautious when traveling. That means getting vaccinated early if you're not already, and watching your health for at least 3 weeks from a return from a vacation.
How is the Iran-Israel ceasefire going, in your opinion?
I think very good. Israel came back yesterday. I was so proud of them because they came back. They went out because they felt it was a violation. And technically they were right, but it just wouldn't have worked out very well.
That was President Trump at the NATO summit in the Netherlands this morning, commenting on the ceasefire deal between Israel and Iran.
Now, that ceasefire appears to remain intact this morning, despite a rocky start Monday night when both countries accused the other of breaching an agreement. NBC's Richard Engel has the latest from Tel Aviv.
Israel is opening back up again. Here in Tel Aviv, the cafes are now full, the beaches are opening, flights are being put back on at the airport after Israel quickly lifted a semi-state of emergency now that Iranian missiles are no longer being fired at this country. And for the first time in a long time, there are no air raid sirens here. In Iran, they are also celebrating. People are out on the streets in Tehran, even though Iran was damaged badly militarily, its nuclear program set back. But Iranians are saying the fact that they were attacked by the joint force of the United States and Israel, and we're still standing and firing to the end, is a kind of victory. But there are questions here in Israel, there are questions around the region. Will this last, or is there another round coming? There are disputed reports of how damaged the Iranian nuclear program really was. Was it set back and obliterated, as President Trump says, or just a matter of months, as some early intelligence assessments now suggest? There is also the lingering question about what happened to about 1,000 pounds, 880 pounds of enriched uranium enriched to 60%. President Trump says that it was likely destroyed, that Iranians wouldn't have a time to have removed it from their nuclear facilities. The Iranians have said that they did remove it, so that is also an open question, raising concerns across the region. Richard Engel, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
On the heels of that report from Richard, we can tell you Homeland Security is warning about what it's calling a heightened threat environment here in the U.S. because of the conflict between Israel and Iran. It says people should be especially on guard against cyber attacks. So here's what a local security expert and a retired member of the FBI had to say about it.
We focus a lot on physical security. It's where people see the most security improvements in their spaces. And cyber needs to be as important to all of these organizations as well.
Oregon's emergency management team is asking everyone to stay informed at this point and pay attention to news updates. They also say you should look out for suspicious behavior and let authorities know about anything that doesn't either look or seem right. And they also say you have to be extra careful online, watching out for scams, phishing emails, or suspicious links.
Cute. Before we get to Rod's forecast, how about a little round of applause for one of Oregon Zoo's cutest residents?
If you say so.
Okay, thank you. The zoo posted these photos of Tula having a ball on Facebook yesterday with the hashtag Tiny Trunk Tuesday.
What is that, like a cement ball? What is that ball?
What is today, Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
Okay. Now we'll go to where is the waste Rod Wednesday forecast.
Where is the waste?
It's so tiny.
I get it. Yes. I just didn't see it coming.
No, you did?
All right, here's our Timberline Lodge sky camera. So, today we have low marine clouds. It's very overcast at the beach, very overcast here in the valley. You get up high, though, and you'll have sunshine. In fact, the cloud deck, for the most part, is not up through Government Camp. When I've checked the cameras, it's been partly cloudy at pass level. It's going to be about 60 at pass level and probably about 60 up at Timberline today as well. Down low, though, this is the way it looks, and we expect this to be a continued cloudy day. We are getting, you can kind of tell from the Rose City camera, we are getting at least patchy spots of light moisture out there that have picked up within the last hour plus or so. So the bricks in downtown, I think there has been at least a touch of some light moisture, but overall it's been fairly dry in the city core this morning. 56 from the Pioneer Park building, 55 out in Hillsboro. We're all about the same because we're underneath the same low cloud deck. It's 55 in Sandy. And let's see here. Yeah, Salem's at 55 degrees, very uniform temperatures. Futurecast does here we are noon and here we are at 7, the low cloud deck just staying with us. So that will obviously limit today's warming. And these past weeks that have had marine clouds hold out all day, we have held in the 60s. We have not made to 70s. So I think a lot of us will be in that same situation today. This weather model shows only about 60 or so at the beach, ongoing chance of light moisture there. There could be a raindrop here in the valley even this afternoon. And then we've got the sun, partly cloudy skies, and 80 or better, mostly in central and eastern areas. 7-day forecast. Again, a 2-day cool down due to the lack of sun. 67 today, 65 tomorrow. Tomorrow's the better chance of more widespread light moisture at times. Friday, we start to pull out of it. We get some sun. We pop it to 75. And then we do the big pop on Saturday and Sundays. We go 84, 87, and could be a one hot day to start next week. We've got Monday at 93 degrees, and that is your forecast.
Give me one more pop.
Pop!
Pop! They cut Rod's mic. Hey, we do have some traffic to tell you about. How about this slowdown situation on I-5 at Capitol Highway? Yeah, things really slow this hour in that spot. More drive times around the area. 2 more slowdown spots, if you will. You can see them there in red. The drive on Highway 26 East from Brookwood Parkway to I-405. That's a 29-minute drive at this hour. I-5 North, Wilsonville to the Markham Bridge downtown is now a 38-minute drive. So, yeah, definitely slow going out there. Give yourself some extra time. Still ahead here on Sunrise, the devastating scam that's getting victims to hand over boxes filled with tens of thousands of dollars of cash. After the break, how you can avoid getting ripped off. And later this hour, what went wrong the night a door plug blew out over the city of Portland.
Frankly, it's nothing short of a miracle that no one died or sustained serious physical injuries.
The NTSB has a final ruling. Who's to blame? We're going to hear about that coming up as Sunrise, streaming live at 8 o'clock, returns in 2 minutes.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pittawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pittawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Walked in behind me, and I said, "How much money do you need?" He said, $10,000. I said, "What's that for?" He said, "Well, we need people to insure the car, give it license plates, install the plates." I used to be a very bright guy, and I feel very stupid now having bought this.
Yesterday on Sunrise, we told you about that 87-year-old Portland man who was scammed out of more than $10,000 after he was told he won second prize in the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. In Washington at this moment, there is a different scheme that's already scammed victims out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Brady Wakayama, with our sister station in Seattle, tells us the signs that you need to look out for.
These are significant losses of money, often to people who can't afford to lose that money.
It's a devastating scam targeting real money from real people.
The total losses over the state of Washington is more than $7 million lost by real Washingtonians.
Patrick Hines with the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has been tracking these crimes since early last year. Here's how it works. The fraud begins with a text, phone call, pop-up alert, or email from people posing as bank officials and federal agencies like the Social Security Administration.
That you have been the victim of an identity theft, or your account has been compromised, or you have a virus, and you need to click on a link or enter a phone number and contact someone. And when you do that, you're put in contact with a scammer.
So far, 47 people have been victimized statewide, with nearly half of the reported cases in King County. The range of losses span $870,000 in one case to a low of $9,000 for another victim.
At the end of the day, our victims are being scammed into handing boxes with $20,000 to $30,000 worth of cash to a courier who then takes it away and it's in the hands of the scammers.
Investigators say victims who sent money sometimes also receive fake letters. The Social Security Administration shares 4 warning signs, including pretending to be from a trusted agency, claiming there's a problem, pressuring you to act immediately, and demanding payment in a specific way. If something seems suspicious, Hines says to verify it directly with the agency or organization and report any potential scams to police.
One of the biggest steps to avoiding a scam like this is just having the thought in your head that you need to be careful because this scam exists.
All right, that was Brady Wakayama with our sister station in Seattle reporting. Meanwhile, we have Rodney Hill from our station right here in Portland, KGW.
Yeah.
Talking about that weather forecast. You're going to talk about the East Coast temperature?
Yeah, we're going to start there. So would you rather be in Philadelphia, your birthplace more or less today, or here in the beautiful Northwest, Mr. Carney?
Nothing beats, in my opinion, summer weather in the Pacific Northwest.
Amen.
June to September,
Amen.
This is the place to be.
Amen.
Amen. I'm covering up the heat. Here it is. So these are current numbers. So what time is it? It's 8:19, so it's 11:19 on the East Coast. Not even noon yet. 90 in D.C., 88 in New York. And if you've been listening to NBC's national reports on this, part of the mix is the humidity factor. Muggy, heat indices well over 100 degrees. Quite the difference out west. That's mainly, it's hot in the Midwest, but the real heat and the extreme heat warnings are really just along the East Coast. So this shows you the height of some of the high temperatures today. D.C. and New York will be 98 each, maybe 100 degrees. And by the time you get back into Little Rock and Kansas City, temperatures are hot, but not that extreme. It does appear that at least New England down to New York State will see significantly cooling tomorrow. This is Thursday, only 70s in New York. And D.C., instead of being close to 100, will fall off to about 90. So the worst of that heat for the mid-Atlantic northward is just about to come to an end, so that's good news. Big high pressure ridge still in play. On the backside of it, showers, thunderstorms in Des Moines and up through, not north of Des Moines, in Iowa, and then up into Minneapolis. We've got dry weather for the most part here on the West Coast, a little bit of light rain over in Idaho and Montana. We've got what looks to be some systems coming our way, but there's really nothing. We have a marine push of low cloudiness with a wave of some cooler weather that is blanketing the coast and the valley this morning. Here's what the cameras look like. And all indications are this is a day where these low clouds will stay solid at the beach, and these low clouds will also stay solid here in the valley and up into southwest Washington. This is Nookwinds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. Some folks out there enjoying the surf coming in. 55 degrees. We've had multiple reports of light moisture at the beach. And then Portland, in the last hour, the clouds have just gotten lower and lower and lower, and with that, the reports of at least patchy light moisture. I mean, look at this from the Wells Fargo camera. There's the Tilcomb Crossing. You really can't even see the Markham Bridge hardly. So that's really becoming kind of socked in as the clouds have lowered and we're getting raindrops. That report from PDX out along the Columbia, we're at 56. Kelso, cloudy. It's cloudy all the way up I-5 to Seattle and all the way down to Eugene. Eugene's at 56. Partly cloudy once you get up over the high country. Bend, nice morning underway, 63 currently. Futurecast shows at noon today, 7 o'clock today. This is tomorrow morning. This is the latter part of tomorrow. We stay cloudy. And there's a better chance of more widespread measurable light rain tomorrow than today. And today we know we're getting a touch. Salem, 70, maybe. Most of us will probably hold in the 60s. It shows battleground at 68. Winds will be light. So the couple cloudy days, best chance of measurable, more widespread light rain is tomorrow. We get some sun developing Friday, and then right now your weekend still looks the same. 84 Saturday, 87 on Sunday. Both days will be nice and sunny. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
For what?
It's traffic. Isn't it traffic time?
Yeah, but I'm doing it.
It's traffic
so
time.
It's not going to be great. I still have to use MapQuest to get home from here. All right, we're taking a live look. I-5 at Capitol. A little bit of a slowdown right there. We have some drive times for you. Not looking great. 60 miles per hour there. Main Street to I-405. Things getting a little better. Patton Parkway to I-84 on I-205. Going to take you 23 minutes. Coming up in your national headlines, Dolly Parton headed to Vegas. How long you have to see the star perform at Caesar's Palace when KGW News at Sunrise returns.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
The National Transportation Safety Board held a hearing yesterday as it works to understand why a door plug blew off a Boeing 737 aircraft over Portland early last year. A preliminary investigation placed blame on missing bolts meant to hold that door plug in place. Now, that was confirmed in yesterday's hearing. Then the board pushed further on how it was possible that the bolts could be missing in the first place.
This isn't all on Boeing or Spirit. I have lots of questions about where FAA was during all of this. The FAA is the absolute last barrier of defense when it comes to ensuring aviation safety.
The NTSB chair acknowledged Boeing's efforts to improve its safety and quality control programs. She also indicated the FAA has heard the wake-up call to improve its oversight. Now to your morning rush. The Washington man charged with providing the chemicals used to bomb a fertility clinic in Palm Springs, California last month has died in federal custody. Daniel Park from Kent, Washington was found unresponsive at a detention center in Los Angeles. He was charged with providing and attempting to provide material support to a terrorist. Texas Congressman Al Green tried to impeach President Donald Trump, but that effort failed. Green accused the president of not getting approval from Congress before launching strikes on Iranian nuclear sites over the weekend. Lawmakers voted 344 to 79 to block the resolution. All 79 votes against it came from Democrats. And former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has conceded to State Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani in the race to win the Democratic nomination for the mayor of New York City. Mamdani is the race leader as first choice votes are being tallied. He's been gaining momentum in the race's final weeks after touting his progressive vision for the city, which includes things like rent freezes and price caps on city-run grocery stores. And Dolly Parton getting a mini residency in Las Vegas. She'll be doing a 6-concert run at Caesars Palace in December. The country music icon has not been on the road since her Pure and Simple tour wrapped up back in 2016. And that's your Morning Rush.
It appears that what happened is that the train threw off sparks. Those caught the nearby brush, and because it was the red flag conditions, they spread.
Coming up at 8:30, details about the new lawsuit accusing Union Pacific train for starting the Rowena fire, plus the new controversial amendment to Oregon's income tax that could bring an end to one of Multnomah County's most popular programs. KGW News at Sunrise continues in just 2 minutes.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
KGW's 6 o'clock news. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pittawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pittawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your evening news team. Watch weeknights at 6 on KGW.
Good morning, I'm China Green. In Northeast Portland, police are still searching for 2 carjacking suspects. This happened in Northeast 108th and Haslow Street. It's going on right now. Police say around 4 this morning, they responded to reports of an armed carjacking. Officers found the abandoned car a few blocks away near Northeast 114th. They're asking neighbors to stay inside and call 911 if they see anything suspicious. Head over to Rod Hill now for a look at weather.
All right, thank you, China. We have a gray morning underway, and this is a day, and so will tomorrow be, that we expect the low clouds to stay throughout. So we're not looking for sun. So far, Salem has been much drier than Portland, 55 degrees. Here's the Rose City camera, and you can tell the clouds are low. We have reports of kind of patchy light rain or mist around the area. 56 is the early morning number. That's even grayer looking, isn't it, from the Wells Fargo? We'll be overcast, as I mentioned, throughout the day. And there's an ongoing chance of some light moisture coming from the cloud deck. 67 at 5 o'clock. 7-day forecast shows the cooler weather tomorrow. Developing sun on Friday, a sunny 80-something degree weekend.
Your time now is 8:30, and while the U.S. is dealing with hot weather across much of the country, Europe is dealing with its own heat wave. Let's take a look at this. This is zookeepers at the Budapest Zoo helping cool their elephants by spraying them with some cold water. Look like they are definitely enjoying that. Meanwhile, our Tula 2 out here, she's out. playing with the ball.
Hey,
Saw a video of that earlier.
Yeah. You know why elephants are excellent swimmers?
Why?
Because they have their own built-in swimming trunks.
I knew the swim trunk was a part of that joke.
Yeah, but could you really put it together that well, like that?
I just couldn't deliver it quite like that.
No, probably not.
China, please. China's laughing so hard
C+
inside that she's really. You were doing a good job of keeping that laughter in, by the way. You didn't let it out.
Hey,
at all.
that was a great joke. You want to say it again?
Yeah, you know why elephants are terrific?
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Oh, we're glad that you're joining us this morning. Hi, everybody. We have a solid low cloud deck from the coast to the valley. We talked about this yesterday, and I think that we have a good chance where the clouds will not break either day. So here's Lincoln City. Folks out, well, two sets of folks out walking around this morning. 56 degrees. We've had scattered reports of light moisture falling from the cloud deck at the beach and similar reports here in the valley. This looks dry at this specific spot right now, but cloudy. Chehalem Tasting Room out in Sherwood, 55 degrees. And there's that scene from downtown Portland. PDX has been reporting some light moisture for over an hour now out along the Columbia, so it could be wet coming across both the Glen Jackson and the Interstate Bridge at this hour. You have to flip on your wipers potentially. The clouds stay with us, and so does the chance of some moisture from the low cloud deck. 61 at noon, and assuming we don't see the sun, only 67 today. That's your forecast.
Hey, Rod, quick look at traffic here on the Wednesday morning. I-5 at Capitol Highway, really the one slow spot, not the only slow spot, but the one we've been keeping an eye on because it really has slowed down there as traffic towards the bottom of your screen makes its way into downtown Portland. We can show you other drive times as well, and these aren't much better. I-5 south from Main Street to I-405 is still a 33-minute drive at this hour, and the 205 South Drive from Patton Parkway to I-84 is coming in right now at about 26 minutes.
All morning here on Sunrise, we've been telling you about a search for 2 armed carjacking suspects in Northeast Portland.
As the search continues this hour, Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live from the Hazelwood neighborhood with the latest. Thomas?
Hey, good morning, guys. And yeah, police have a shelter-in-place order for people in the Hazelwood neighborhood around this vicinity. That's northeast 114th and Halsey. All morning long, we've seen officers. CERT team was here. Crisis management team was here. Right now, let's just give you a look at what we're seeing just down the street here on 114th. There's still some officers out there, but right now, CERT teams are going house to house searching yards. I want to show you a little bit of footage that we captured earlier this morning. Now, this incident all stemmed from a 4 o'clock incident this morning when police say a driver was carjacked at gunpoint near northeast 108th and Haslow. Fortunately, that driver was not hurt. The car was then found by officers right around here along northeast 114th. Suspects, 2 of them, were then seen fleeing the area. Once again, special operations officers and the crisis management team are on scene looking for these 2 suspects they believe to be armed. They're going yard to yard, checking for suspects, and police officials tell us that these kinds of searches can take hours to transpire. Once again, residents have been asked to shelter in place, and neighbors are concerned these kinds of incidents are becoming more common.
Our neighborhood has changed a lot. My kids used to run in the streets and play outside all the time, but now they've grown up, but I wouldn't want them to be out alone without having either my wife or myself watching them all the time.
Now that neighbor we heard there, right along here on northeast 114th in the Hazelwood neighborhood, says now he's thinking about moving. He has been for quite some time, and this incident just pushes him closer to that decision. As for this incident right here and this search for these suspected armed suspects of this carjacking a little bit earlier this morning, police say that they're asking anybody with information about who these people are or where they may be, or any information about the carjacking itself, to contact Portland Police. Drew, China.
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live in Northeast Portland for us this morning. Thank you, Thomas. All right, now to Wasco County, where 2 people are suing Union Pacific for starting the Rowena fire.
The lawsuit claims that a Union Pacific train sparked the fire. It's also important to keep in mind here, investigators have not given an official cause yet. KGW's Devin Haskins has more.
I cannot believe they have not shut this down yet. There we go. There's the fire.
The Rowena fire burned 3,700 acres and destroyed dozens of homes after breaking out near Interstate 84 on June 11th. A lawsuit filed Monday claims a passing Union Pacific train is responsible.
It appears that what happened is that the train threw off sparks, those caught the nearby brush, and because it was the red flag conditions, they spread.
The suit was filed on behalf of 2 local residents who lost property and had to evacuate. Their attorney accuses the railroad of negligence in failing to inspect the train and clear brush near the tracks.
And knowing if you're a train company that you have these engines and cars that can throw off spikes, you have to exercise significant caution here. From what we can tell, that didn't happen.
They believe it was sparks from a passing train that caused it.
Right now, the working theory is that in all likelihood, the brake was not properly set and released. And so that's likely what threw off the sparks. But we're not going to know that until our experts can physically inspect.
Union Pacific says it's cooperating with state investigators and said, quote, after conducting its own extensive investigation, Union Pacific has found no evidence to date that our train caused the Rowena fire.
I would have been very surprised if they would have said anything else. That's what a defendant in this situation pretty much always does.
Fire officials have said the fire was not caused by lightning and that it was human caused, but they say they haven't determined what officially started it yet. I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
And after months of debate, the Oregon House has passed a bill that repeals the statewide wildfire hazard map. The map first rolled out in 2022, and the purpose was to let Oregonians know if their homes would be vulnerable to wildfires. But homeowners in high-risk areas say insurance companies raised rates or dropped coverage based on the map. The repeal passed the House 50-1, and it now heads to the governor's desk.
A last-minute move by Oregon lawmakers during the legislative session that ends here on Sunday could eliminate Multnomah County's Preschool for All program. An amendment introduced earlier this week aims to prevent counties from imposing an income tax to help cover the costs of preschool. Voters approved Multnomah County's program in 2020. That program taxes high-income earners to provide free preschool for all 3- and 4-year-olds. Multnomah County leaders call the effort to get rid of the tax, quote, unconscionable.
The County Commission is standing together, and Multnomah County is doing everything possible to protect against this unprecedented, unfair, and undemocratic effort.
And we're one of those rare families that we both benefit from and pay into Preschool for All. And we're thrilled to do it. We think that it's an extremely wise investment of public dollars.
If Oregon lawmakers move forward with this amendment, the free Preschool for All program in Multnomah County could be gone by the year 2027.
Meantime, the homeless service tax on income and high-income earners and businesses across the Tri-County area could lapse if voters don't renew it. Yesterday, the Metro Council essentially decided to scrap efforts to get an extension for tax on the November ballot following a recent survey that showed voters were unlikely to approve it.
And it's become clear to me, if not to you, that there's really not a path this year to an extension of this measure, and that the gap in public trust is too wide. And we're going to have to work very hard over the coming years to narrow that gap and regain the trust of the public.
The current tax was passed in 2020 and is set to expire in 2030.
Governor Kotek signed a bill into law that provides unemployment benefits to striking workers in Oregon. This makes Oregon the first state in the country to offer this type of pay to striking public employees. Eligible workers can collect benefits after 2 weeks on strike, and payments will be capped at 10 weeks.
Oregon's minimum wage is set to go up next week, so here's 3 things that you need to know. Number 1, this is not new. Oregon's minimum wage is automatically adjusted every year based on inflation. The increase for this year is 35 cents statewide starting on July 1st, so that is next Tuesday. Number 2, the state of Oregon has 3 separate minimum wages. A standard wage, a higher wage of the Portland Metro, and a lower wage for non-urban counties. Those wage increases are on your screen, and we have more details on that on our website. And number 3, Washington's minimum wage already changed on January 1st. The state minimum went up from $16.28 to $16.66. Meantime, the federal minimum wage has not changed since 2009 at $7.25.
News from Boeing this morning. The company is giving 58 former employees their jobs back after they were laid off late last year. According to the engineers union, Boeing violated 2 provisions within their union contract and said the violations had to do with union workers getting laid off before contractors. 2,600 people lost their jobs starting last November, including 600 from the engineers union. The rehired employees will be back on the job by the end of this week.
Still ahead here at 8:30, bison are now roaming free on some tribal lands in the state of Washington. Coming up, we hear from the people behind the milestone, helping restore both the environment and native culture.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pittawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pittawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
After nearly 200 years, a new generation of bison is roaming on tribal lands in eastern Washington.
What? Continue?
People can't see what's happening in the studio. Bless it. But anyways, oh, they almost got you.
Well, listen, I'll handle this professionally. Our Environment Northwest team in Spokane shows us how the reintroduction is not only improving the ecosystem, keep that in mind, it's also has deep Hey, you know what it was? It was Rod Hill.
Hey, if you want to bring it back, I can handle the rest of it.
From the top.
After nearly 200 years, a new generation of bison is roaming on tribal lands in eastern Washington. Our Environment Northwest team in Spokane shows us how the reintroduction is not only improving the ecosystem, but it's also helping deep cultural connection as well.
For the first time in a very long time, a new generation takes its first steps on the Colville Confederated Tribes Reservation.
To actually come out here and witness it, and they're just these tiny baby calves, it's kind of just makes your heart warm.
These bison calves are among the first born on the tribal land here.
They've been gone from here for at least a couple hundred years, 150 years, almost 200 years.
Go. In 2023, the Colville tribes got the opportunity to introduce bison to their own lands. While bison weren't widespread across the inland Northwest, they hold a deep traditional meaning for the tribes here. The first 30 head of bison were released near Buffalo Lake.
It is kind of surreal in a sense to see, you know what I mean? Like there's actually buffalo here now.
But they're more than a symbol. These bison are changing and improving the ecosystem.
There's somewhere between here and Swawilla.
Colville Tribes fish and wildlife biologist Sam Rushing monitors the bison, treating them as a wild herd.
A lot of other species have coexisted with bison for thousands of years.
As a keystone species, bison help maintain healthy ecosystems. Their grazing creates nesting grounds for birds and promotes plant diversity. Rushing also expects them to help water resources.
They don't tend to spend a lot of time right down in the creek bottoms like domestic cows will. You know, they'll come down for a drink of water, but then they'll they'll move off and stay out of the creeks and streams.
Compared to cattle, bison protect creek and riverbanks that serve as critical habitat for fish and wildlife. But beyond the environmental support, the bison also reconnects the tribes to their cultural heritage.
At the moment, the current population for this bison herd is just over 45 members, but eventually the tribes would like to get that population up to a level they consider to be sustainable, meaning they can be harvested by tribal members.
In January, Fish and Wildlife hunted their first bull, part of sustainable management, with the meat set aside for ceremonial purposes.
We have this spiritual connection to all our foods, and nothing goes without any sort of respect and honoring.
So I have no doubt that we'll get to that level. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
What is that level?
We're still kind of determining that. So there needs to be kind of some assessment done on range conditions to see what the habitat can support.
Currently, the Colville Tribe's Fish and Wildlife team's reviewing a draft of their bison management plan, laying the groundwork for both the future of the herd and the future of the tribes.
It's kind of healing to reintroduce these species, for your spirit. It really helps that healing process, the trauma we've gone through, to see a lot of these back on the landscape.
For Environment Northwest, I'm Cody Proctor.
We have a Jeopardy session happening right now.
Well, let me ask you, I'm buying time here. Let me ask you one question first.
Okay, yes.
Either one of you two ever see a bison in person, like up close in person?
Yes.
I have as well.
Yeah.
Where at? Clark County.
True story. Kentucky of all places.
Really?
There was a preserve in Kentucky when I lived there, and I had a black lab. My black lab is crazy. Concerto goes running after the buffalo. My smarter dog, Caruso, was sitting there going, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sure enough, the buffalo or the bison turned around, and the Concerto comes running back. And then my other dog, Caruso, he's like, yeah, you're an idiot. All right, that's my story from Kentucky.
You had two words going there. We
I
were
did.
debating a moment ago, is there a difference between a buffalo and a bison? Now, I'm trying to look it up quickly. If you start the weather forecast,
and then
I'll
you'll
get you
give
an
us the
answer.
answer.
Hey, do you know what they tell their kids when they go off to hunt? Bison.
Bison. That's very sweet. That's very sweet. This is where I thank you, actually beg you to keep watching our show. Here's a look at our satellite radar composite. The story here is no weather systems coming and going, no real weather alerts or concerns for your traveling. It's tough to see on the infrared satellite picture, but this is solid clouds that have come in off the Pacific, low clouds blanketing literally all of western Washington and most, until you get down south, of western Oregon. And it is a marine cloud flow that we believe will stay for the most part solid today, solid tonight, and solid tomorrow. And we've already seen some light moisture out of those low clouds, and we could do that again tomorrow. By the time you get to Hood River, it's partly cloudy, and then here's the Dalles, where it's partly cloudy this morning as well as we look at the river and the dam. 64 is your temperature. You have light winds. You're expected to get west winds 15 to 25 this afternoon. Here's Salem, light winds all day, cloudy all day for the most part, 55. So far been drier in the mid-valley than here in the north. Look how low the cloud deck has become from the Wells Fargo camera. We absolutely are seeing patchy light moisture, including out along the Columbia River. 56 degrees is the temperature there. Kelso, you're overcast all the way up to Seattle. And then we talked about the sun east of the mountains. Bend is now warmed to 68. Generally, it's going to be 80 to 83 in most reporting sites central to eastern Oregon today, where it'll be really nice. Futurecast does show the low clouds right here. Here they are later today. Here they are tonight. Here they are tomorrow. So it could be Friday, developing sun during the day before we pull out of this. And if the modeling is correct, there's a better chance of more widespread light moisture and a better chance of measurable precip tomorrow than what we're seeing today. So we'll see how it plays out. All right, 70 at most in the valley, mostly cloudy, traces of rain. Drew, do you have an answer? Okay, I have birthdays coming too. Okay. Battleground 68. I'm interested to know. Mostly cloudy, traces of rain. We have the sun in the 80s I mentioned in central and eastern areas. Coast only about 60 today. Not much wind though. The only spot that really expecting any breeze at all is the gorge. Here's the 7 days. So Friday we get the developing sun after a couple days only in the 60s. Then we go 84 Saturday, 87 Sunday, 93 on Monday. Before birthdays, do we have an answer?
No, Director Brian and I discussed we would do buffalo and bison, then birthdays. So real quickly.
Okay, here we go. The answer.
Bison and buffalo, according to what I found online, not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
Both belong to the bovine family. You knew
bovine
that.
family.
You knew that. But they are distinct animals with different characteristics. Bison are native to North America and Europe. Buffalo found in Africa and Asia. So now you know
what? I have read that before, but I forgot that I read it. Yes.
Okay, so you were arguing all this time.
So
now you're telling me that you knew the answer?
I didn't know, but so in all those Western movies, they were incorrectly referring to the bison as buffalo.
Yes.
All the Westerns I watched as a kid.
And the Buffalo Bills, the NFL team, should be the Buffalo Bison.
Yeah.
So that team, spoken as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, that team should not be in the United States of America. All right. Thank you, China, for laughing.
Wait,
we got new birthdays,
Is
Drew.
the show not entertaining you?
You're just buoying out. Just buoying out.
List. I don't know why we've all lost our minds, but we have. Here's Ruby, who is 4 today. Happy birthday to you. Very sweet picture. Elijah is now double digits, 10. Happy birthday to you. Brian celebrating 57 in, can't tell if it's world or land, but certainly in front of Mr. Walt Disney, the statue there in one of the parks. 57 today. Gloria, hey, happy birthday to you. 97 years young today. Keep the hands going because guess what? Bernie is 107 today. Woodburn, good grief. Hope you have a great day today. Hope you're feeling well too. Birthdays at kgw.com and we will celebrate with you.
All right, keep that applause going for the traffic this morning out there. Yeah, how about it? Actually, not too bad in this spot anyways. I mean, obviously some slowing still on Highway 26 at the Sylvan Interchange. We expect to see that, but it's not more than normal. What isn't great right now is that drive at the top of your screen, the Highway 26 eastbound drive from Brookwood Parkway to I-405 up to 29 minutes.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Quick recap of some of this morning's top local stories. Police in Northeast Portland continue to search for 2 carjacking suspects in the Hazelwood neighborhood. Police say around 4 o'clock this morning they responded to reports of an armed carjacking. They're asking neighbors there to stay inside and call 911 if they see anything suspicious. Meanwhile, doctors have confirmed the first case of measles in Oregon this year. Officials are saying that the infected person spent time at the Safeway store on A Avenue in Lake Oswego on Sunday between 11:30 and 3 p.m. And they say that just days before that, the patient was hospitalized with a rash and pink eye. On Monday, that patient was confirmed to have measles. Health officials also say on June 17th, they took a United Airlines flight from Chicago to Portland, landing at around 6:30. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has signed a bill into law that provides unemployment benefits to striking workers. So this makes Oregon the very first state in the country to offer this type of pay to striking public employees. Eligible workers can now collect benefits after 2 weeks on strike, and payments will be capped at 10 weeks.
And our 7-day, kind of what we have is what we're going to get. We think the low clouds are mainly solid up and down I-5 today, Portland, Salem, and Vancouver. Same thing tomorrow, ongoing chances of some light moisture around from those clouds, which we are seeing this morning. Daytime highs will be cool in the 60s. The weekend warms up into the 80s with sunny skies.
All right, let's take another look at that traffic situation for you right now. 2 spots in red. The drive time from Main Street to I-405 on I-5 South is at 34 minutes right now. Traffic is moving a little bit faster on 205 South between Patton Parkway and I-84, but that is still a 26-minute drive.
So it's often said music is a universal language. Now a 12-year-old Houston boy is putting that to the test among an unlikely audience, man's best friend. UV Argawal noticed that when he played to his keyboard, it soothed his family's restless golden doodle named Bozo.
Bozo?
Well, his name's Bozo, so he's obviously restless. He grew curious, So also wondered if it could help shelter animals. And with the help from his parents, he founded the nonprofit Wild Tunes in 2023 to recruit musicians to play in animal shelters. So far, he has enlisted about 100 volunteer musicians to perform at shelters in Houston, New Jersey, and Denver.
I mean, Bozo's not a great name for a dog, right?
That's great. It's a great name for a co-anchor.
Oh my gosh. Wow, we're going to end on that one. Yeah, that stings. That stings right there. Ouch.
You know, Grandma Kim plays the piano, and when true story, Maximus will always go underneath, it's a grand, and lay there and loves it.
Maximus is a dog, by the way.
Yeah, Maximus is Rod's dog. You want to take a shot at Grandma Kim too? I mean, you really want to bury yourself here today, China, or are you done?
Oh, we love Grandma Kim. Hey, a reminder, you can watch sunrise here every day, well, Monday through Friday on KGW Plus. Have a great day.